Hello, my friends. I love how I start most of my episodes with that because I'm the world's biggest introvert. I have very, very few friends. But yeah, that's how I start my show. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Nope Coach podcast. This is episode 275. There is no behind. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg. This episode was inspired by an offhand comment from one of my clients the other day. She was like, I'm listening to your podcast. I'm just up to the episode on grief. I did an episode with Gloria Eid. She'd written a book called Waves, which is about grief. And she's like, I know I'm behind. And then she caught herself because it's something I say, there's no such thing as behind. She's like, but I love to listen to the podcast episodes in order. And for those of you who have listened to all, what are we now, 275 episodes, shout out to you. I know there's at least two because you message me often. For anyone else, like, oh my goodness, what a journey we've been on and continue to go on. Thank you so much. But this comment, like, I need to listen to the podcast episodes in order. Firstly, I'm curious. Do you guys, those of you who are listening, not just this show, any show, how is your podcast listening etiquette, regimen? So for me, it's funny. If I read a book, even if it's a book where you can pick it up anywhere, I read a book from cover to cover, no exception. But when it comes to podcasts, I literally just scroll along, look for the title that tickles my fancy and listen to that one. And what I love about podcasts and even watching them on YouTube, I can see the little red bar on YouTube or on my phone, it shows played. So I know I've already heard that one. But sometimes if I'm walking or driving or something else, and one automatically queues up because it goes longer, and I listen to it, on more than one occasion, I've been like, that was fabulous. And then I noticed that I've actually listened to it before. Funny story, going on a complete tangent, but one of my coaches, Joanna Lindenbaum, highly recommend her work if you haven't come across it before, Applied Depth Institute, and she's also been a guest on the show. But she teaches her coaching programs live, and she does the teaching component, and then she does the coaching component, and then there's the replay. On more than one occasion, I have listened to a replay and been madly taking notes or pausing to put things on my phone and be like, this is the best thing ever. This is so good. Thinking it's the first time I've heard it. And then I've got to the Q&A section and heard my own voice and been like, not only have I heard this before, I was there live. So I like have the memory of a goldfish at times. But anyway, back to today's programming. There is no behind. The thought I'm behind is one of the most crippling thoughts we can have. Like if you think I'm behind, what happens in your body? Like pause now, if it's safe to do so, close your eyes. What comes up for you when you think I'm behind? To me, I immediately feel my chest constrict. I feel a heavy weight in my stomach. I feel my breathing get lighter. And because my eyes were closed, the image that flashed to mind was like cross-country races at school, where I literally was behind. Funny story, going on lots of tangents today. In grade 8, we took the school bus and had our cross-country at the police academy in somewhere outside of Hobart. I can't remember exactly where it is, but anyway, that's where we had it. And I was that slow that they were literally packing up the witches' hats and kids were filing back on the bus and I still hadn't yet finished. And to this day, I still wonder what would have happened if the bus had taken off without me. So yeah, I have a lot of anxiety and trauma tied to I'm behind as a thought. But the thing is, now that I'm an adult, for those of you listening, I'm assuming it's mostly adults, it's pretty salty language here, but we aren't forced to run cross countries anymore. There's no circumstance where we're truly behind. We're in a place where we've put ourselves there. If you're not liking the book that you listen to, you're reading, put it down. If you're listening to a podcast episode and you're like, yeah, this one's not tickling my fancy, press stop, go to the next one. If you like, we don't have to finish everything. I don't know what it is about us having to, maybe it's from being young, that conditioning, finishing everything on your plate. Like, oh, that's another thing. Just hearing that, you must finish everything on your plate. Mouth goes dry. Breathing gets shallow. And it's the same sort of thing. There is no behind. How would your life change if you just trusted I always get what I need? That's something I say to myself, like a repeat on the daily. I always get what I need. True story. I recently did a course. I enrolled in it. It was 13 weeks long. It just finished like 2 days ago. In the first week of that course, my mum passed away. So I didn't show up for most of it. I trusted that I was getting what I need. And it was a big investment. It was a high ticket item. So I started down that road of, I'm so behind, I've wasted money, all this sort of stuff. And I caught myself. I was like, no, I always get what I need. In that entire 13 weeks, I turned up for one thing, one class. It was phenomenal. Such a great class. And I was like, wow, that was worth the price of investment. It's another thing I tell myself. Because like sometimes we make ourselves watch, listen, finish the entire thing. And it's like, we don't need all of it. Anyway, the course finished a couple of days ago. Got an email from someone. If you listen to the show, I'm not sure if you do, but shout out, you know who you are. And she was like, I loved your presence in this course. I'd like to connect with you. When I first read the email, I had to go, my presence in the course? I only turned up once. I made an impression. But seriously though, like that connection, and now we're chatting and, you know, going to be biz buddies. What if what you get from the thing isn't what you intended? Like I had one intention signing up for this course and then my world fell apart and I didn't follow through. But sometimes a connection, a relationship that you can make from something can have unintended effects. It kind of reminds me, it's going to come up as a podcast episode. My son said to me the other day as an offhand comment, Mummy, you've had more jobs than Mrs. Rabbit. So for those of you who don't have young kids, Mrs. Rabbit is a character on the TV show Peppa Pig, which my kids used to love, but now they're too cool for. But Mrs. Rabbit is like the bus driver and the dance teacher and the firefighter and the chef. Like I think she has at least 3 jobs an episode and they're always different. At one stage, I was going to be a teacher. That didn't last long, but I did a diploma of education and I met like a lifelong friend from that. So what I thought going in and doing this diploma of education is that I would be a teacher and move into that career path, which I did not because it was not for me. Anyway, side note, but that friend I made, we've been friends for over a decade now. It's so worth it. I can think of so many things where I had going into it thinking I would get this and coming out of it and getting something else entirely. When you hold it loosely, when you like there's no behind, when you trust that you'll get out of it what you needed to, even if it wasn't what you intended to. Makes me think of that song. Is it the Rolling Stones? Can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Yeah. Letting go of the thought and the pressure and the anxiety producing, I'm so behind, and trusting that you always get what you need. And it might not have been what you intended, but you get it. It's totally a game changer. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are new, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, so great to, as I say, so great to see you, but I don't see you, but you know what I mean. I'd love it if you leave a comment, if you subscribe. If you're not already on my newsletter list, I really encourage you, come on over, SuzanneCulberg.com. You can click on it and go straight to the newsletter. I send weekly-ish missives that are not what I share on the podcast, usually a lot more sassy and sarcastic and sometimes salty than I am here. If you need an ethical bribe to sign up because, you know, you're guarding your email like some dragons guard their gold, if you go SuzanneCulberg.com/masterclass, then there is I think it's currently how to say no, the art of saying no. It changes from time to time, but there'll be a masterclass there, like a freebie training that you could watch, but, you know, it's paywalled by your email, as in it's free, but, you know, you need to put your email in to access it. But yeah, the reason I really encourage you to sign up is that you don't have Facebook or YouTube or Apple being the connection between us. Because sometimes, you know, things happen. And if we're in connect via email, then yeah, we can keep in contact. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye for now.